The activities of the South African Reserve Bank affect the lives of all South Africans and all sectors of the economy. At home, in industries and in the services sector, the financial well-being of South Africa's people is guided by the actions of the Reserve Bank through the application of monetary policy. As soon as you buy anything or make a financial transaction, the Reserve Bank monitors and clears the funds used in that transaction. The Reserve Bank oversees the safety and soundness of the national payment system and provides for the final settlement of transactions. When you visit a commercial bank, the Reserve Bank's policies affect every transaction protecting you. This is done, firstly, by monitoring the financial risks that banks undertake, and secondly, by providing emergency credit to banks to protect the public from risks. This is why the Reserve Bank is the so-called lender of last resort to commercial banks. The bank supports the development of sound, well-managed banking institutions. Central banking services are provided to all consumers over the large geographical area of South Africa through a network of branches. The South African Mint and the South African Banknote Company, two of the Reserve Bank subsidiaries, produce coins and notes. The coins in circulation are produced by the South African Mint, regarded as one of the most modern in the world. It can produce millions of coins a day. The Mint also produces collector's coins like the Kruger Rand, which are sold at its specialty shop, Coin World. Like the wild animals roaming the grounds outside the Mint, collector's coins are usually uniquely African. Designs such as these, depicting Nelson Mandela and struggle stalwarts Albertina and Walter Sisulu, consistently win the Mint International Awards. South Africa's banknotes are produced by the South African Banknote Company. The primary objective of the Reserve Bank is the achievement and maintenance of price stability. The prices of most goods and services tend to increase over time. This sustained increase in prices is termed inflation. Just think about the cost of food, clothes, taxi fares, cars, insurance, and holidays. As time goes by, everything inevitably costs more. Inflation is usually expressed as an annual percentage rate calculated by monitoring the change in the prices of items of typical goods and services that we buy and use. The Reserve Bank strives to keep inflation in the South African economy at an acceptable level in accordance with the inflation targeting framework. Broadly speaking, this means that inflation should be within the target range of 3 to 6%. Prices should therefore not go up excessively, but rather on average by not more than 6%. Inflation affects fixed wage earners in the worst way and discourages people from saving. The target range for inflation is set by government, but the Reserve Bank can choose the instruments which need to be used to achieve this target range. This means that the bank can decide how to combat inflation by using what it deems to be the best available methods at a particular time. The independence of the Reserve Bank is entrenched in the Constitution. The bank is accountable to Parliament as the representative body of all the people of South Africa. The Reserve Bank supports government by administering some of its accounts. It advises on monetary and financial matters, administers exchange control regulations, and handles the weekly tenders for government treasury bills. The bank is also responsible for dealing with institutions like the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the Bank for International Settlements on behalf of government. The bank is represented in forums like the Southern African Development Community, the G20, and BRICS. A key goal of the Reserve Bank is to complement the objective of achieving price stability by formulating and implementing macroprudential policy measures to limit the cost of system-wide risks and distress in the financial system. In a macroprudential approach, the bank monitors and analyzes the activities of commercial banks, which are licensed under strict conditions to accept deposits from the public. The Bank Supervision Department works to limit the risk of depositors suffering losses and aims to maintain the public's confidence in the banking system. International best practice is followed by ensuring compliance with anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism financing legislation. The Reserve Bank is managed by a board of directors, a governor, and 3 deputy governors. The governor and deputy governors manage the daily affairs of the bank. Among other committees, the governor chairs the Monetary Policy Committee of the bank, or the MPC. The MPC is advised by analysts and researchers and then makes decisions on the most appropriate monetary policy stance at a particular point in time. At its meetings, members of the MPC discuss the likely future path of the inflation rate. All the factors that may affect inflation are assessed in order to make an informed decision on the repurchase rate, or the so-called repo rate. The repo rate is the interest rate that commercial banks pay when they approach the Reserve Bank for credit. A change in the repo rate is transmitted to other interest rates in the financial system, including lending rates like the prime rate. Through the transmission mechanism, the change in interest rates eventually impacts on inflation. A press conference is televised live at the conclusion of each meeting to explain how the MPC came to its decision on the interest rate and to interact with journalists and the public. The press conference concludes with a question and answer session. Since inflation targeting was introduced in South Africa in the year 2000, the monetary policy environment has become more transparent and predictable through improved communication. Monetary policy forums are held twice a year in all the provinces of the country, where specialists from the Reserve Bank interact with people from all walks of life. To give effect to its financial stability mandate, the Reserve Bank has established a Financial Stability Committee that meets in alternative months to the MPC. This committee focuses on crisis prevention. The Reserve Bank publishes a monthly statement of assets and liabilities and submits an annual report to Parliament. It produces and analyzes economic data to enable the bank generally and the Monetary Policy Committee in particular to fully understand the current performance of the South African economy and the direction in which it is headed. The bank regularly publishes its findings, providing statistics and analysis to the public through a wide range of publications, and has become a knowledge bank for economic and financial data. Ever since the Reserve Bank was established in the year 1921, it has looked after South Africa's official reserves, which are gold and foreign exchange. The bank trades in the spot, forward and swap foreign exchange markets, servicing its clients' requests, mainly from government, and improving the levels of the reserves. The reserves held by the bank are managed according to an investment policy. The bank does not seek to influence the exchange value of the rand in any direction. The national payment system of South Africa has developed into an efficient and sophisticated environment. Payment systems include payments made between banks, but also involve the settlement of trade in financial instruments like bonds, equities, and derivatives. Networks include bank-owned automated teller machines or ATMs, internet banking facilities, branch networks, and payment instruments. The banking industry also uses electronic funds transfer mechanisms and debit and credit cards. The Reserve Bank clears interbank settlements, helping commercial banks to settle their obligations in real time. Under the SAMOS system, if a commercial bank has insufficient funds, the Reserve Bank automatically and electronically grants it a loan against acceptable collateral. The South African Reserve Bank Academy provides specialized central banking and leadership programs to strengthen the technical competencies of the bank's staff members. Besides providing training, the Academy manages a one-year cadet graduate program, which covers the operations of a central bank and equips young graduates to work in the financial world. Each cadet is assigned to a department in the bank to complete the practical workplace training. The bank considers cadets for permanent positions at the end of the program. The Reserve Bank and its current governor, Lesetja Kganyago, maintain a culture of openness that encourages communication and dialogue with staff and external stakeholders. The South African Reserve Bank, a strong, credible presence not only in the South African economy, but on the world stage. The South African Reserve Bank, an institution of excellence.